So, as promised, I have a Reddit story that I was just kind of baffled over, and I think you guys would enjoy it too. The title is Am I the a hole for jumping out of the way when my niece and nephew tried to push me into a pool, resulting in them falling in? This was posted by Sacred Witness 6250. Happened today. My folks decided to host a barbecue because I guess that's what older people do. I declined because I really don't like my two sisters, their husbands, or their kids. Wife and I are child free. Mom then pressured wife. Long story short, we went. By the time we arrived there were about 20 people there. My sisters and their husbands were already solidly buzzed. My mom was spending 100% of her time trying to keep the nieces and nephews, ages 7 and 11, more or less under control. My dad had strategically retreated to the whirlpool part of the pool with a small cooler full of beers, of course. Sounds like a smart dad, actually. Wife and I had made small talk with miscellaneous people, ate food, and had frozen margaritas. Sister and brother-in-laws took turns criticizing us for being late, not being in our swimsuit, and screwing up the vibe. Whatever. Typically suburban summer get-together. 45 minutes in, two of the kids ran at one of the neighboring guests who were standing next to the pool and pushed her in. I would be livid. She was at the pool steps, stumbled in but didn't fall in, so she only got half wet. She was clearly very unhappy about it, but didn't make a scene. Just went over to where the parents were, grabbed their towels, dried herself off, and went. Sister and brother-in-law thought this was all great fun. Yeah, because it's not happening to them. A bit later, I was standing a few feet away from the pool, chatting with someone. I saw three of the kids running full tilt at me from the corner of my eye. Obviously, I was next. Not that it's terribly difficult to outwit young kids, but I just jumped out of their way at the last second. All three of them ran straight into the pool at full speed. Good for you. Most of the guests, including my wife and me, started laughing, but their moms, who, as I mentioned, were pretty shit-faced, absolutely freaked out. Apparently, two of the kids couldn't swim even though they were in swimsuits. Since I wasn't in swim gear, I stepped back from the pool and let the other people fish the kids out, which is also their responsibility. They're kids. Also, if your kids can't swim, why aren't they wearing like floaties or some kind of swim vest? Just in case, especially if the parents are like adamant on being shit-faced, you would think that they would think about safety. So the kids were bawling their eyes out like they'd lost a limb. At that point, all hell broke loose. The four parents were yelling at everyone in general, and me in particular, for nearly letting their kids drown. And also because two of the kids had been videotaping the trick using their parents' iPhones, which were now at the bottom of the pool. Ah, yes. Here are the consequences of my actions. One of my brother-in-laws got into the pool to try to retrieve the phones, but his BMI and BAC made that impossible. No one else volunteered to help, unsurprising given that my sisters were still bullshitting at everyone. I told my sister it was their job to watch their kids, yes, and that if anything bad happened to them, it would have been their responsibility, not mine. There were some pretty strong words on both sides. Wife and I left after the other brother-in-law fell over and face planted while yelling at us. You have to be pretty drunk to just be standing somewhere and just face plant. Now they're saying that I should have let the little shits knock me into the pool and have their fun and ruin my phone. So, am I the a-hole? Side note, Dad, of course, never got out of the whirlpool. Yeah, like a pro. I think it's quite obvious this guy is not an a-hole. As I said, if you're at a barbecue and your kids, you have a pool and the kids can't swim, they should be wearing floaties, some sort of safety vest or whatever, and you shouldn't be getting that hammered when there's a risk of your children drowning, period. And it's not okay to assume that it's okay to be pushed into the pool and have his stuff ruined, his clothes, his phone, whatever else he may have on him. That's not okay either. So I'm going to make this into, I think, 3 parts because there are updates and they are glorious.